year if you didn't make it this year. Thank you.
Seeing no more lights, now we can move on. We're going to move on to courtesy of the floor to visitors. I've got 2 visitor cards. I ask you to come up, give your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to address the council. Melissa Settle, come on down. Yes, hit the little button right there. It'll turn green for you. There you go.
Okay. Hi, my name is Melissa Settle. Address is 1108 3rd Street South. I am the wife of Stephen, mom to Maggie, teacher of 16 years, licensed foster parent, and founder of an adoption ministry at Senior Tent. These are roles and titles that I'm most proud of, and I've been looking forward to adding business owner to Jack's Beach to that list. I started Grazing Parlor LLC, a charcuterie catering company, in October of last year to bring joy through food to people's celebrations. My family and I decided this summer to take a huge leap of faith and open up our own storefront. I chose Jack's Beach for lots of reasons. We are invested in this area and want to invest more. This all may sound familiar to you, as it was the beginning of a letter that I sent each of you on Thursday, September 18th, explaining a huge predicament I find myself in after receiving news that my new shop would need to have a grease trap installed to operate. I want to remind you that I don't cook anything. The food product that I prepare has minimal to no fog products. I'm here tonight to ask that you, as city leaders, revisit ordinance number 2019-8125 with 2 particular areas in mind. First is a line item in section 32-181 E and F, stating that the interceptor needs to be installed and located on the outside of the facility. I would ask that you have discussions among yourself if that is necessary requirement to uphold the purpose and intent of this ordinance. Ask yourself, why is Jack's Beach the only surrounding city municipality that requires the unit to be placed outside? The only answer I have been given by city officials is for the convenience of the inspector. This little added line item makes it impossible for me to operate in compliance with this ordinance. Due to space constraints of the facility, there is not enough room to run piping outside to the interceptor and then have enough slope to come back inside to properly connect to the common line of sewage located underground and inside my space. Under my new floors that will have to be ripped up, concrete that will have to be cut, trenches that will have to be dug, and reinforcement that will have to be installed. I'm talking about structural modification because my knives touch cheese and my pans have residue of cooked cured meats, which leads me to my second and final area I'm asking for consideration. The ordinance is grouping all food service industries into one scale of operation. A locally owned small business charcuterie catering company should not have the same requirements as a big box franchise hamburger and french fry restaurant. Would you please consider implementing tiered requirements by type or scale of operation? Distinguish limited service, low output food operations from full service, high output kitchens. Use thresholds based on seating, square footage, number of fixtures, or grease volume to apply more flexible standards to smaller operators. I think it would be a reasonable ask to consider adding an additional variance to this ordinance that could allow businesses to opt for inside interceptors based off of those thresholds. Considering these 2 areas would have such a positive effect of the Jack's Beach economy. It would promote local businesses' sustainability, encourage new food service ventures, preserve infrastructure goals, and be more inclusive to the many innovative business models that we're seeing being created today. I want to close by giving a quick update on where Grazing Parlor stands. We are still inoperable, still cannot open our doors to serve the amazing community of Jack's Beach. We are turning away business, which has been detrimental to our livelihood. I feel like I've been set up for failure, but I have been working around the clock to try to find a remedy, and there is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. I want to thank each of you council members who took the time out of your busy schedules to reach out to the city officials when I initially contacted you. I want to thank Mr. Askew, Mr. Barron, and Mr. Staphopoulos for being willing to consider an alternative to my impossible situation. I want to thank the dozens of plumbing professionals that have shared their expertise to try to find a solution. I'm working with an engineer and plumbing contractor to provide plans to the city that will prove there is not enough room to install this trap on the outside, and I'm hoping to have those submitted to the building department by the end of this week. My landlords requested utility site plans from the city last Thursday, which we still do not have and are necessary to submit for the grease trap application. Every teacher will tell you it is important to be a lifelong learner, and boy, am I learning a lot right now. If you have any guidance to offer me, please give me a call anytime. I am at your mercy, and I'm pleading for your help and direction. I want so badly to have my small business be successful and bring lots of celebration to this community. Thank you for advance for your attention to amending this ordinance and being a helpful ally and advocate for small business owners like myself.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Mrs. Hall. You just set it down right there. If you give us your name and address, you'll have 3 minutes.
Kathy Hall, 1639 6th Street South, Jacksonville Beach. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. My purpose is to request that you consider an alternative to the golf course bylaws and rate resolution as it affects the Women's E-League, which plays on Thursday. I won't read the memo I just passed out to you in the hopes that you will thoroughly read it on your own. Instead, I would like to highlight a few good key points and propose an alternative to dismantling the E-League. E-League has been around for over 35 years. It is part of Jacksonville Beach's history. There are about 100 women on E-League, almost all of them senior citizens. There are almost 0 no-shows. In a month, E-League requests 1.78% of the total course time. In a year, this comes to 1.67 of total course tee times. Merging with the Tuesday Women's League, as was suggested to be by Trevor Hughes, would increase the Tuesday's league wait list from 30-some women now to 130 women. Signing up as a group that plays after 10 a.m. increases the cost of 18 holes of golf from the proposed $34 to $53. Now that includes tax. I propose, ideally, E-League remain the same and not be dismantled. A viable alternate would be to continue E-League as a group, waive the group surcharge of $11 per player per tee time, and charge E-League players $50 a year, just like the Tuesday Women's League players pay. I do not know who is complaining, how many are complaining, or to whom. But I must ask, would they still complain if 32 E-League players as a group took 1.5 hours per week in tee times after 10 a.m. on Thursdays? In conclusion, E-League has been a part of the Jacksonville Beach for over 35 years. It provides a physically and mentally healthy outlet for 100 senior citizens, and this does not include Tuesday's Women's Golf League or the men's leagues. E-League contributes to the revenue of the golf course. It utilizes less than 2% of available tee times available to the course each year. Finally, I would like to thank you for your hard work, your devotion to our community, and your consideration of this alternative. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them now, or you have on my memo and from record my contact information, and I'd be happy to either answer them or find out the answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall. Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
No agenda, consent agenda.
Oh, that's right. There's no, but it's on my list. Moving on to our one and only item, our ordinance. Do you want to give us a rundown of the?
If we just follow this procedure, so we'll start with the clerk.
Okay, we'll start with the clerk. Madam Clerk, can you give us an ordinance by title?
An ordinance of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 7, Civil Emergencies, Section 2-193, Authority to declare and extend a state of emergency, activation of disaster plans. To update and clarify procedures for declaring or extending a state of emergency, providing for legislative findings, repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, Scrivener's errors, codification, and an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney?
Yes, thank you. This is before City Council on its second reading. There have been no changes since the first hearing. Just a reminder, there's two main points to this ordinance, which relates to emergency management. It is clarifying language regarding mayoral powers during the first 72 hours of an emergency, and then it is also adding language providing guidance on extending a state of emergency in accordance with state law. Thank you.
Okay, this ordinance is before the council for a public hearing and consideration on its second reading. I will now open the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-8227. Do I have anybody that wants to speak in favor or against this ordinance? Seeing none, I close the hearing. Can I get a motion?
I move that we adopt ordinance number 2025-8227 on the second reading, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 7, Civil Emergencies, Section 2-193, Authority to declare and extend a state of emergency, activation of disaster plans, to update and clarify procedures for declaring or extending a state of emergency.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any comments from the council? Ms. Golding.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. It was brought to my attention by a citizen that the language in Section 2 of the proposed ordinance is not exactly what the language in our charter says. And so I've handed out a one-pager for you to see what our charter currently says in Section 4. And you'll note that the charter language doesn't have any gender references at all. And I know that the city attorney was, he had included gender reference just in modification to what was already in the ordinance. But based on the suggestion that I received from the citizen, I thought it might be good for us to consider just making Section 2 actually mirror what the charter says. So we have the same language in our ordinance that we have in our charter. So you can see on the second section how it would read, how Section 2 would read, and it would basically say pursuant to Section 4 of the city charter, and then insert the city charter language, which starts with, in time of public danger or emergency, the mayor may, by proclamation, take command of and govern the city for a period not to exceed 72 hours. If the public danger or emergency requires that governance of the city by the mayor should be extended, this may be authorized for a period not to exceed 5 days by the affirmative vote of at least 5 council members. So you'll see it's really it's not different from what is currently proposed, other than the fact that it mirrors exactly what the charter language says. So if there is no objection, I would make a motion that we amend Section 2 of the ordinance as I suggested. And
So we got a motion on the table. Second. Motion and a second. Any comments on that motion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Golding,
yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters.
Yes.
Okay, back to the original ordinance. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Jansen. I guess my question is for our city attorney, Mr. David. I want to be clear on this. Does this allow the mayor to take control of the police department?
So, no, it does not. And that was one of the proposed changes I put in the ordinance, was to remove that language that is currently in our code because it conflicts with our charter. Now, the ordinance as drafted is legally sufficient. It cannot conflict with the charter, so that was one of the two changes I tried to make to fix that. Councilmember Golding's language is also legally sufficient, so there's no requirement that the language in the code mirror the charter language verbatim. It just can't conflict. So either way, I think we are good. If now that we have an amended motion that's on the table and easiest to vote, I think we're legally in a good place if that motion passes. But if it fails, I think the original motion is also legally sufficient. So however you all want to proceed is fine with me. But to get back to your answer, no, this either way, either the original motion or now the amended motion would remove that language in the current code and take that power away that's not contained within the charter.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Yeah, I recall our discussion to some degree, and I just wanted to be sure that that point is settled. Thank you.
Would you like any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right. This is down and dirty. Let's move for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Go Jags.
Thank you. Hey, good